And we're going to get off to a quick start here on GCR. Busy Thursday edition of the program. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. Today's show brought to you by the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. Save $100 when you use the code TAILGATE at ginsugrills.com to reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill, the perfect home grill or tailgate for grilling, baking, searing, smoking, all kinds of food. Again, ginsugrills.com. Busy show. Coming up in just a few minutes, Kenny Mayne. You've seen Kenny Mayne your entire life. He was down in New Orleans for the Ravens Saints game. We're going to catch up with Kenny here in a bit. Ken Zalis is going to join us in studio this morning. We will make picks as we do every Thursday, but on top of that, we will also find ourselves enjoying his misery as he has to consume and mayo. Bring the music down, please, if you don't mind, Griffin. Thank you. He has to consume a mayo and mint apple jelly sandwich. So there's that. We'll enjoy that. That'll be coming up in a little bit. Also later on this morning, Dominique Foxworth, Baltimore's own and former Raven, now a media superstar on ESPN. He's going to join us. We'll talk some Ravens with him. And then Weekend at Bookies to come as well. Also, my friend John from Little Rock will be hanging out in studio with us this morning as well. We got quite the day scheduled. We're going to try to start things off here in just a second. Jayden Umbarger from Navy as they get ready to face Notre Dame Saturday at M&T Bank Stadium. So much to do, not a ton of time with which to do it as we continue on a Ravens bye week version of the program. So, a couple of things really quickly right out of the chute. By the way, are we certain that's the right number? Let me start with that. Can you tell that from the voicemail? Can you tell? Okay, it's definitely him. All right, very good. Then do me a favor. Send an email to Scott if we get try him one more time, but send an email to Scott at 10:05 if we haven't heard from him. All right, just to say, hey, Scott, it's Griffin. We're doing live producing here on the show. Scott, it's Griffin from GCR. Just wanted to let you know that we've tried calling Jayden, but we have not gotten an answer. That's all. That's all we got to do. Best laid plans of mice and men, or mice men in our case. Best laid plans. We're like, we're going to knock this thing out. We got things scheduled at 15 minutes. Everything's going to go perfectly. Believe it or not always the case. Not always how things go when you try to make that work. All right, a couple of things. So obviously we Ravens continue to sit back and life's good. We don't have to worry about anything. The news yesterday was on the Orioles front in a couple of places. The significant one, Jordan Lyles. Jordan Lyles, option not picked up. I'm struggling with this one because Jordan Lyles proved to be exactly what you needed him to be. And every team, no matter what you might have coming, no matter how much you believe in some of your own pitching, no matter how much of an impact you think Grayson Rodriguez might make, every team can use a guy whose job it is to go out and eat innings. Every team in baseball, good, bad, anyone can use a guy whose job it is to go out and eat innings. The flip side of this is what we don't know. Are the Orioles planning on spending in the free agent market legitimately with starting pitching? Because if they are, then they might say, look, we can't do both. We're going to go get a pitcher. We're going to go get someone, but the reality of it is we can't both spend $11 million and also go out and sign the guy that we want. They're not going to come out and publicly say that, of course, but that might be the reality of the circumstances. It might very well be that they're just sort of acknowledging it's not possible for them to do both things. There have been people that have said maybe you can re-sign Jordan Lyles at a number that's more favorable. I mean, maybe, but now all of a sudden you got to negotiate with everybody. And I don't know if Jordan Lyles is so desirous of being back in Baltimore, particularly if he's going to lose money in the process, that he'd be willing to do that. My gut reaction to Jordan Lyles is don't like it. But I'm acknowledging that I only have a small picture of the story, that I still need to know more about what the plans are. And as we talked about a few times late in the season, the reality is the Orioles actually have more going for them, or at least more candidates for the rotation next season than places where we feel particularly good as far as position players are concerned. And perhaps within the organization, their belief is we've got the pitching. If we're spending money, we're spending it on bats. It's a risky proposition, of course. And the answer that we can always give is you can never have too much pitching. That's eternally the answer, is that you can never have too much pitching. There's no such thing. I'm willing to be patient. I'm willing to try to learn more about what the ultimate decision will be, or how this will ultimately end up playing out with the Orioles and this decision not to pick up Jordan Lyles' option. But my gut reaction is don't like it. I hope it's a very small piece of a total puzzle that the Orioles are putting together. I hope that we'll look back on it and say, well, they could never end up with insert pitcher's name here had they brought back Jordan Lyles, or they simply might have had too much. I don't know. At the moment, don't love it. The other kind of news related to the Orioles came out. They put in a claim for Daz Cameron, so there's that. I have literally nothing that I could possibly say. His name is Daz, so
I guess it means Cedric is gone?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to be the move. I got nothing to say about Daz Cameron. Yes, he's Mike Cameron's son. Mike Cameron once hit 4 home runs in a baseball game, so maybe Daz will end up doing that. I don't know, but so far, not a lot to see in Daz Cameron. It's a guy. I mean, at the moment, that's all I can say. It's a body. There's no reaction to have to that. The other news related to the Orioles that came out yesterday was news about how the schedule is going to look next season, and that I think is quite intriguing. The first part of that equation is that the Orioles are moving Monday through Thursday weekday games to 6:30, and I like that a lot. A lot. I've said before, it's 6:35 to be specific. I've said before, when I was in Arizona, Diamondbacks game started at 6:40. And that was a good thing. It was a good thing to me that the Diamondbacks are playing games at 6:40. So this is from between before Memorial Day and after Labor Day. So when the kids are in school, that's a good thing. It's a good thing to be playing the games at 6:30, giving more of an opportunity to stay for more of them. I get it. There will still be an argument about downtown businesses, and you want people to come downtown. You want them to go over, have a few drinks, spend money, get dinner, and 6:35 maybe makes that more difficult than 7:05. I understand that's the flip side argument to this. The flip side argument is if you get off work at 5 o'clock, and there are far less traditional 9 to 5 jobs that exist, but if you get off work at 5 o'clock, it is difficult to get downtown, get parked, or take the god-awful public transportation system that exists in our city. Hopefully there will be upgrades coming. Hopefully that will be a priority for Westmore. I think that's the smallest thing that we could ask for. It's tough to do that, get somewhere, get across the street to Sliders, eat dinner, have a couple of drinks, and be into the game by 6:35. That's the negative. The negative is the way that it might impact the downtown business. And that's unfortunate. I mean, I'm not going to lie about that. It's unfortunate. I do think at some point you have to choose. And I think right now, I would argue that this is the best thing to do. Could I bump it back 10 minutes? Could I see a world where instead of 6:35, maybe you go 6:45? You try to find a happy medium between these things? Yeah. Yeah, I could see that being a bit more ideal than 6:35 to try to throw a bone to your partners downtown, to the businesses that have suffered a great deal over the last few years while the Orioles have been miserable and nobody's been going to the games. I'd like to continue working with them. But I think it's for the best to try to allow for more people to consider going to games. I think it's very easy in April, when the weather's not great to begin with, to say, dude, we can't do 7 o'clock. It's not going to work. And try and find out if 6:30 makes an impact. And the answer might be no, by the way. It might very well be that you don't get any more people going to the games by starting them at 6:35 because they still say the same things. Well, the weather's not great, and, we'd still like to be leaving by 9 o'clock at the latest, and you might still struggle. But taking a shot at it and figuring out if you can get a few more people to come downtown and go to the games by starting the games a little bit earlier is a risk I think that's worth taking. The flip side of the announcement yesterday about the schedule was that the Orioles are going to play more afternoon games during the week, which is interesting. Our friend Paul Valley, who hosts the Bat Around Saturday mornings, pointed out, boy, I don't think I like that because Brandon Hyde refuses to catch Adley Rutschman on a day game after a night game. And so more day games after night games are a bad thing. And, you guys can get after Paul all you want, but I don't think there's nothing to that. That for this franchise in this moment, when their most important player is the catcher, the idea of there being more scenarios where he's not catching doesn't seem ideal. But I do think at some point we're going to have to accept this. I think the role of backup catcher in Baltimore has got to be more important here. We've got to understand that the value of Adley Rutschman, yes, is that he's going to catch a good bit, but he's not going to catch every day. Now, I do think that the Orioles need to have, I think they could come up with a strategy of how many true days off Adley Rutschman's getting versus days where he's DHing. I mean, you need Adley Rutschman to be in the lineup. You need your day game lineups to be legitimate lineups, and part of that is improving the team. This goes back to the conversation about Jordan Lyles. Part of having better day game lineups has to be that they need to have better players to put in the lineup. I mean, that's part of the issue of what they went through this season. You can make fun of the lineups that Brandon Hyde was putting out there, but he only has so many guys to put out there. The bigger problem was that guys simply weren't producing. So if this goes back to them internally saying, we need the investment to be in the lineup and with position players and with bats, because not only do we need a better starting lineup, we need better bats off the bench. If we can make certain guys who we had to play every day more utility pieces, then maybe those lineups that we put out there for day games don't seem so bad. Look, I like the idea. I always get excited when I see a day game, a getaway day special where you can get down to the ballpark, spend your afternoon there. I also think that we have to a lot of this goes back to how 9-to-5s have changed post-COVID, how there's far fewer 9-to-5s in general. And I think that is impacting every decision that everyone is making, not only within professional sports, but within pop culture. Are there more things we can do because there is less slavery to 9-to-5? Can we consider doing more of these things because there is a greater audience that could be out there that isn't forced to just be in an office as a working stiff from 9 to 5? And I'm good with the Orioles trying to figure that out. And we'll figure out what the answers are, and we'll go from there. I liked it. It was a thumbs up for me, the announcement of how the Orioles are altering their schedule. That to me was a thumbs up. The Jordan Lyles thing, we'll find out. All right, the Ravens continue on a bye week. They sit at 6-3, first place in the AFC North. Our next guest was down in New Orleans on Monday night, checking out the Ravens and the Saints. He is one of my favorites. I know he's one of yours. He is the great Kenny Mayne, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Kenny, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It is always great to catch up with you, sir. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That was a little bit of a weird game. It's like they were fighting, a 5-yard play was a big deal in the first half for either side.
We see, I don't know that but do we mind that in Baltimore now? I mean, they put together 2 7+ minute touchdown drives, and they ended up.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, ultimately, they were the better team going in. They deservedly were the favorite. They, they got the better quarterback. He's always a threat. He was missing a few guys, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't have everything going the way they like to. I felt like he was a little tentative. I don't mean tentative like he was playing poorly. I mean, he was kind of like, what's happening in this game? I'm kind of studying the flow of the game before I do something a little more assertive. He just looked a little different to me, but I'm a huge fan. He's a threat on every play. Great arm, great legs, smart, runs the thing, makes good decisions. So I've never quite understood. I think it's just because people got nothing else to talk about, so they got to talk about things that are negative. That's how too many people watch sports. I'm not one of them.
I get
so
that.
I've never understood the weird criticism of him for the good amount of work he's done, consistent, still fairly young. I don't get it. Anyway, I'm a fan.
I'm with you.
They look like a decent team here.
I don't mean to trash your former employer or anybody in this business who does that, but I mean it's clearly there are some times where people are saying things about Lamar Jackson that frankly aren't watching him, that have no idea what they're saying.
Agreed.
And are just basing it off of I need to say something because that's what I get paid to do. The interesting part to me, Kenny, is the Ravens now over the last 2 weeks, the Buccaneers game in Tampa and New Orleans, and I get it, these are not teams that we think are Super Bowl contenders, but they've averaged 38 minutes and 5 seconds of time of possession over these last 2 games. And to your point, I don't think is unfair at all. Like, aside from the insane criticism of Lamar Jackson, I do think the last couple of weeks he's been a little off. And maybe some of that is not having Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews on the field, but he seemed a little, skittish at times. There's been throws that have been a bit off. But sort of finding their identity again and running the ball and putting together these long drives, and now maybe having a bit more of a dominant defense, adding in Roquan Smith, this looks like the method that made the Ravens so successful going back to 2019, the last few years.
Yeah, no, and he's ultimately going to make his big plays. I didn't even mean that, like I said, as a true criticism, like it was poor play. I meant because he doesn't have the same weapons, it's almost like let's just kind of keep it under control. Okay, we punted. Punting's not terrible. We'll get it next time, right? Like there's a lot of coaches who would say, if you score, that's the best thing. If you punt, that's second, right? Don't turn the ball over. So I just thought he played kind of a measured game, and he made the right plays. He made some good runs when he had to, some good throws when he had to. I think they're a pretty solid team, and every coach is going to say, we don't really care if we win 8-5, we won. Let's go next week. Like nobody cares if you're a coach how the games are in full. It's just, do you win or do you lose, right? Every win is hard. So, what do they have, 6 wins? They're in a good spot right now.
Kenny Mayne, of course, you can listen to the Hey Mayne podcast. It's part of Odyssey. He is with us here on GCR. Kenny is holding the ball for close to 40 minutes a game and playing really good defense. And again, I get it. They're talking about 2 games against the Buccaneers and the Saints. This isn't Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen that you did it against. But if they can keep that going, can that be enough to beat teams like the Chiefs and the Bills should they get to the postseason?
Oh, I mean, if it's that big a differential, 2-1 on possession, yeah. I mean, that means the other guys either got to be doing poorly or scoring quickly. As long as in that 20 minutes the other side doesn't hit 3 or 4 home runs, you're doing okay. But yeah, that's a huge advantage, and that's it's cliche, but that's what you always say, right? You want to keep other good quarterbacks off the field, and the best way to do that is not let them have the ball.
Yes, that's helpful. I would say that's a pretty good way to go about doing it. Is let you be the team that does things. Kenny, I want to talk about just one more about the Ravens. I mentioned the defense. What you saw on Monday with Roquan Smith now in the mix, and this revelation that Justin Houston has been this season, which is borderline insane. The type of season that he's put together, 8.5 sacks in 6 games so far. Do you get the feeling that this is trending towards being a dominant type of defense?
I'd be guessing because I really haven't been there like you week after week, seeing all the different variations and how it's improved. I saw in person just this one game with them. I've seen their highlights, so I think I'd be doing what you said earlier, where somebody's just saying something to fill time in when I don't have a strong opinion. But I was impressed with what I saw a few nights ago, that's for sure. And I saw some clips of it afterward, like on the highlight shows. They ran some pretty cool stuff. It's like over my head that, I'm always on the offensive side, and that's what most of us concentrate on more. But when you see defenses do things that have, some intricacy to it, the stunts that they're running, second guy in kind of stuff, it's pretty fun to watch, especially if it's your defense. It reminds me of my team, the Seahawks.
Yeah.
When they had that amazing defense, the defense was an offense, right? Like, they were making so many plays and making so many stops and turnovers. It was like another weapon for scoring points, whether they actually did it or whether they set the offense up to do so.
Let's talk about your team, the Seahawks, because we talk about revelations, and I mentioned Justin Houston. How in the hell do you explain what Geno Smith has been in Seattle? And are we talking about a guy there's gonna be a bidding war that the Seahawks are gonna have to throw a ton of money after, or do they look at this and say, well, hey, if we could do this with Geno Smith, there's probably another Geno Smith that we could do this with next year? How in the world do you explain what's happened? It's one of the not just the great stories of the year, but maybe of recent NFL memory. What's going on out there?
Yeah, I think what it really says to me is the fine line between those who start and those who don't start. You could say the same thing about those who make teams and those who are the last cut, right? There oftentimes really isn't that much difference in the level of play between the people I just compared. Just one guy gets a chance and one guy doesn't, right? Because for so long, it looked like he was just, all right, he's going to ride out his career as Russell's backup if Russell hadn't left. And then instead, he gets this chance to play, and clearly he was underestimated, right? I just remember saying, by no means did I predict he'd play as well as he has, but I also didn't think he was going to be a disaster. I just remember saying in August, I think I did an interview, who knows, it might have been with you guys, where I just trust Pete Carroll. If Pete Carroll says it's going to work out and I have a plan, why am I distrusting that? He's given us, over a decade of really, really good football, mostly good decisions, and mostly playoff teams. Like, if he says it's working, then it's working, right? If Wade Boggs says it's a ball, it's a ball. Like, certain people, they build up a trust level because they have had such success doing it their way. And he said, we got a plan. And the little bit that he did get to play, he'd come on in relief for Russell sometimes. I always he looks like he knows what he's doing. Who knew if he was ready to just take over a team? And it's been fun to watch. Kenneth Walker running great. We already got good receivers. Defenses come on. It's been pretty fun to watch this to this point in the season.
It's so funny you bring that up with Pete Carroll, because you're not going to believe this. There are still people somehow in Baltimore that criticize John Harbaugh. It's just crazy that there are still some people here in this city that criticize someone who all he's ever done is won. And I don't agree with every decision that John Harbaugh has made, but it's amazing to me when you talk about a coach like this, and it's the idea is that somehow you've won in spite of them or something like that. It's unbelievable to me the way that opinions like that can exist.
Well, I think it goes back to what we talked about at the top, that people watch things with different lens, right? Some people watch sports just in a full negative fashion, and that's all they're looking for. What's the most negative thing I can say? Even if I'm watching my team win, I'm going to criticize the punt team. I don't know. There's just,
right.
Just a different viewpoint. I don't operate that way mostly, and it was the same when I worked at ESPN. I enjoyed watching good games. I root for my West Coast teams, obviously, but otherwise it's kind of celebrate the cool shit and not be so deep into the negativity of it all. Dude, right?
It's so well said. I say this all the time. I don't know how it is in Seattle. I don't know how it is in other markets, but in Baltimore, everyone always hates the offensive coordinator. It's just the way that it works, right? You believe, I guess, because
my favorite thing is sitting next to like somebody's grandma, 2 doors down, and everybody thinks they're an OC,
right?
In the
because
stands.
they play Madden or whatever. They truly believe
right.
that they can call plays better. And I like this
Mm-hmm.
happens with Greg Roman here in Baltimore because he likes to run the ball. It's not the most Madden electric offense that the Ravens have. But I look up and I'm like, they're the number 5 scoring offense in football. They're the number 2 DVOA offense in football. What in the ever-loving F are you complaining about? Like, what? Have we all gone insane? Like, you know what I like? I like results.
The other thing, too, way too many times people will make an analysis of something that happens, the seemingly that somebody made a mistake, right? But you don't know for sure what their play call was or what their defensive call was if it was a defensive mistake, seemingly, right? Like maybe that guy wasn't supposed to even have covered the receiver.
Right.
He was cheating to go help a guy who didn't cover him, but then it makes it look like he made the mistake. So people make criticisms without all the information, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yep. No, very well said, sir. Very well said. Kenny, I don't mean to spring this on you. I don't know if you ever had a relationship. We lost. Fred Hickman died yesterday, and I was at ESPN for a little while. Was a legend in this business. Did you know Fred at any point? Did you guys have a relationship, or maybe could you tell me anything about the respect you had? Because we had an affinity for Fred because he partnered with Nick Charles, who we had in Baltimore, again, who we lost way too young years back. And, just loved Fred Hickman. The voice, everything about his presentation to me was so incredibly good.
Yeah, well, I knew him only a little. Yeah, we crossed paths when he was at ESPN. I think I bumped into him maybe at Super Bowls or something. But, yeah, huge respect for what he and Nick did together. That picture I put out and others put out today of those two, that kind of classic shot from their old show they did together. I mean, they truly were kind of like at the forefront of the modern sportscasting that SportsCenter was a part of, obviously, as well. Even the George Michael sports machine, right?
Yep.
Like that was out of Washington, D.C. And so when I was, starting like in TV out in Seattle, finally getting on the air in the mid-'80s, whatever, those were all the influences. It was all 3 of them. It wasn't just ESPN. It was Nick and Fred doing their thing, and George Michael with his big clunky giant computer machine and the spinning tape. So it's funny because obviously ESPN had big sway as well, and so many different characters that started things off. But they were one of many influences, like for a lot of us that got into it. And those two, they just had a cool way about them. That was a really good run that Nick and Fred had for all those years. It was one of my favorite ways. What I always tell people too is like when you're doing whatever you're doing, do it like you're talking to your friends on the couch. You're not putting on makeup and presenting a very official statement about sports today. You're more like just being a regular guy, just saying the stuff you would say sitting next to your friends watching a game. And they had that chemistry and the camaraderie and, did it so well.
I mean, they were incredible. They're an incredible duo, and he will be sorely missed. Kenny Mayne, what all can I – obviously the Hey Mayne podcast, but what all else can I get plugs in for you because you're always so good with your time with us?
Well, yeah, today we have Allison Becker, my friend, the actress.
It's very cool.
And it's funny because for Hey Mayne, and that's on the Odyssey or wherever you get your podcast, as they always tell me to say, she, John Glazer, Ben Schwartz, and Aubrey Plaza have all now been on my show. And it was just fun having them all because I know them all in different ways. They were all together with me on the little show we did at ESPN way back when. And all of them have had such great success. Aubrey's like big star. She's in The White Lotus, and she had her Emily the Criminal movie, and John's over in London doing a play, and Ben Schwartz is always doing a million things. Allison's always busy doing a bunch of things. She's writing. They're all I basically started their careers is what I'm getting at. So, and I'm happy for all of them. So,
dude, I'm an obsessed Parks and Rec fan. Like the happiest day of my life is we had Nick Offerman call in one time, and I sprung it on him. I just said, Nick, because he was promoting a gig he was playing in town, would you be willing to just say the names of meats for the next 90 seconds? And he giggled, that Nick Offerman giggle, and he said, yeah, I'll do that. And it was as much radio gold as I always imagined it would be. It made me happy.
That sounds pretty solid.
It's so cool. It's so cool that you have those relationships with that
guy.
That was
no, and I'm still pissed. I'm the only one that didn't get to be on that show because everybody else did. So we gave them the whole stable there. We got that. I'm doing stuff for Caesars. Like I said, I was just in New Orleans, and we're still working on our fundraising for our Veterans Foundation. It's called Run Freely, RUNFREELY, runfreely.org, and we get these devices on the legs of veterans who otherwise can't move around very well and get them moving without pain.
Maybe a good way to recognize Veterans Day this week would be to make a donation, runfreely.org. Kenny Mayne on Twitter, @Kenny_Mayne. Always appreciate you taking the time for us, man. Truly enjoy our conversations. Thank you for doing this.
All right. See you next time.
Kenny Mayne checking in with us here on GCR after he was down in New Orleans for Ravens Saints on Monday. Can you believe that, Ken Zalis? There are people that, despite all of this success, would criticize the coach. That's crazy. What a crazy thought that would be. It's insane, isn't it?
I guess it depends what your definition of success is.
I mean lots of winning, constant winning, winning and then more winning.
If you're impressed with regular season, yeah, I mean it's done. I mean it's great. But if you have bigger fish to fry,
right?
Then I can understand.
Yeah. Well, it's a great point. They've never had any postseason success.
They haven't had it for a really long time. Long time. Because we've seen I'm actually you started this.
God. I regret it.
You started it.
I regret it.
You started it. I was just coming in here to eat a sandwich. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm here to do.
By the way, John from Little Rock's going to eat a sandwich too.
Oh,
he just volunteered to do it with you.
He could do it for me.
No.
How did I wind up with this one, and then next week you actually have something that I'm actually.
Well, you want back in?
No, because I don't know if I can come next week. But so
at any point during the week, you don't think you could stop by at any point during the week?
Well, I thought you were just doing.
Well, it would be great to do it on Thursday because you'd be here anyway to do picks. But if you could do another day,
we could try to work that out.
Okay.
I have some.
So do you? All right, we'll talk about
soccer
that
challenges.
Go ahead.
But how did I wind up with this? And actually, something that we're all intrigued about.
I'm not really intrigued by it.
Really?
I got to be honest with you. I'm not intrigued.
Like you're not a little bit. Like
nope.
It doesn't.
Nope.
Like that's the one that doesn't to me sound like god awful.
All right. We got to grab a break. When we come back in, KZ and my guy John Keller from Little Rock, who's in visiting home this week, they're both gonna enjoy a mayo mint apple jelly sandwich. Ken's is going to have a little bit more mayo and a little bit. Like Ken, as we said, it was going to be a healthy amount of both. That's what
I heard even.
No. We use the word healthy.
I heard even.
No, you made that up.
I didn't.
You decided you heard that word after you lost. Nice week, by the way. One win.
Hey, the win was important.
Yeah. We will do that next. KZ is here. Don't forget, online sports betting is coming in the state of Maryland. In the next few weeks, and PressBox will be your source for the best offers and sign-up incentives. Starting right now, you can get $100 pre-registration credit from our friends at FanDuel by going to PressBoxOnline.com/offers. That $100 credit is in addition to the new user promo you'll get when they go live. Just go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers right now to get your $100 FanDuel pre-registration bonus credit. PressBoxOnline.com/offers. KZ is here. Glenn Clark Radio. Experience the best in Kamado Grilling, a complete outdoor cooking appliance. The Ginsu Kamado Grill allows anyone to sear, grill, bake, and smoke all types of food. Designed for efficiency and function, the Ginsu Kamado Grill upholds the enduring legacy of the iconic Ginsu brand. The Ginsu Kamado Grill is perfect to cook all year round, is great for parties, and ideal for tailgating with your friends. Reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill today at ginsugrills.com and get $100 off on your pre-order when you use the promo code TAILGATE. That's ginsugrills.com. Reserve yours today.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, New Maryland basketball coach Kevin Willard sits down with Stan Charles and Glenn Clark to discuss the situation he inherited in College Park and how he plans to get the program turned around. Also, inside, we introduce you to men's and women's college basketball players from all of the teams in the area. And Bo Smoka profiles Ravens receiver Devin Duvernay. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
Another Orioles season is in the books, and the Bat-Around was there every step of the way as the Birds posted their first winning season in 6 years. And after promoting 2 #1 overall prospects in Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson, Mike Elias has said it's liftoff from here. Hi, I'm Paul Valley, and along with my co-host Zach Goodman, we'll be here every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon all off season, discussing every signing, trade, and waiver claim as we navigate the cold winter months that lead to spring training. You can watch us at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or listen live at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. And if you miss a show, you can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. So tune into the Bat-Around with Paul Valley and Zach Goodman every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here at PressBox Sports.
Stan the Fan here, welcoming back one of my favorite sponsors, the Costas Inn. And everybody around Baltimore knows the Costas Inn is a great place to go and grab crabs, steaks, salads, soups, whatever's on your mind to eat in person. But did you know that the Costas Inn has upped their game? They are now one of the premier takeout places in Baltimore. Give them a call now to order your food, 410-477-1975. That's the Costas Inn over 4100 North Point Boulevard.
The Baltimore County Police Department is hiring. Entry-level officers start at close to $59,000 a year with a $10,000 bonus. Some restrictions apply. Plus a great retirement plan, medical, dental, and vision insurance, advancement to specialized units, tuition reimbursement, 15 sick days earned per calendar year, and even further incentives for military members and veterans. If you have a passion for service and want a career for life, visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com or call 410-887-5542. You must be a United States citizen, possess a valid driver's license, and have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. The Baltimore County Police Department is an equal opportunity employer.
If you can't listen or watch live, you can subscribe to the show via Spotify, Amazon, or Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star review while you're there. Or, if lying isn't your thing, we'll take a 3.5-star review too.
All right, back in here on GCR, and we have reached the moment. By the way, today's show is also brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, and it's also brought to you today by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can get the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique. It sounded like he was popping a bottle of champagne. That was quite the pop. You can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. So Casey is here. Is the other mic over there? That John from Little Rock? Can you?
Hey.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm great. It's amazing to be here.
John and I have been friends. I told this story recently. John and I, the first time we met, we didn't actually meet. This is a straight shoot. We were both in Houston. I was still on the Ravens beat at that point in my life, and my then employer, who John's been known for forever, said, "Hey, I got a buddy. He's got an extra bed in his hotel room. Instead of getting another room, you just want to go sleep in the other bed in his hotel room." I said, "Yeah, that's fine. No problem with it." And then I found out later it was John, who I've known and has been a great friend and a supporter for a long time, and it's really good to see you. First of all, pal.
It's awesome to be here.
Can you hold the microphone a little bit up closer? It's
awesome to be here. Lots of Ravens trips in the memories, and my day is not complete without listening to Glenn Clark Radio. There we go.
You've always been so kind to me, and you have no idea.
It's fun times.
No idea how much it means to me, all the kindness. So Ken has to do this as a punishment. Why?
I just want to do it. I don't know. I just want to. I love mayo for one thing.
That was I had forgotten about that when we were talking about it yesterday. I was like, I don't understand why he's doing that. I'm like, oh right, no, John loves mayonnaise, whereas the rest of us. We're revolted by it.
Yeah, and I also love jelly, but I don't know about the mint part of it. That's going to throw me.
That's my part. Is the mint
more than the mayo?
Probably not, but I don't like mint in anything. Unless it's literally a mint.
Right. I'm with you.
Like mint chocolate chip. No. All of that stuff. I just can't do it. Yeah. So that's the part that's going to bother me.
All right.
I have a feeling.
So we said, John, that Ken has to eat a healthy amount. We'll let you choose because you're just doing this for funsies.
Yeah.
You don't. We're gonna the point is to try to make Ken's life miserable in this process. By the way, Dominique Foxworth is going to join us in about 20 minutes. We'll talk some Ravens with him. But Griffin is going to be in charge of making Ken's sandwich because we got to make sure that there is a healthy amount of both mayo and mint apple jelly. So, Griffin, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and have you do this right now. KZ, you did this to yourself.
Well, actually, you did it too.
No, you. I don't know if you remember. You got one game correct.
I did.
One game.
I did. I was going just wonderfully along until I decided to get involved in this.
Right. Correct. When there was nothing at stake.
Right. And
by the way, is it worth it putting your curse on Maryland? Knowing that if you just simply wouldn't have put your curse on Maryland.
I'm really torn this week too.
Why?
I don't know if I want to put the curse on them.
Why not? Would you suddenly like Maryland now?
No, but
you just suddenly care about the results because you had a bad week last week. Yeah. Results have become more important than the powers that you hold over Maryland. I understand that. So you're gonna do this. Are you committing to being back? Because we're gonna do picks later on.
So I'm actually intrigued by next week.
So for those that missed it, and Would You Rather Wednesday yesterday, we discovered that apparently this isn't a thing in Arkansas, is it? The cinnamon roll chili thing?
No, I never heard of
it. All right. In
sounds disgusting.
In Kansas and other places in the plains, they apparently eat. No, that's not nearly.
You want more?
Does not want more. It's not a. Are you asking him or asking me? No. A healthy.
Did
you see when he ate the
No.
the pepper?
Mayo deal.
No.
Oh, you did that on your own, didn't you?
Yeah, I did it on my own, but he had a lot more pepper.
It was
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
That was
This
horrible.
is you got to pay a penalty.
This is a penalty.
Ken, what was the thing? The last bet you lost was it the milk and spaghetti
That made
pie?
me sick for a week. It wasn't so. Yeah, the milk spaghetti pie, and the first taste wasn't terrible. It was just that you had to eat the whole pie.
Yes, it was entirely too much.
Oh,
that was the point.
And
dude, I ate 6 peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches. I don't feel bad about this. So 6 peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches.
I'd rather do that than the mint part here.
No, you wouldn't. You're just saying things.
No,
it was 6 of them.
That's
fine.
If you put more, it's never gonna work.
I guess I don't think it's quite enough, but I guess
looks like there's
Ken's,
3 pieces.
Ken's lucky because I'm.
It's like 3 pieces of cheese. It looks like there's on there.
I feel gracious because I've been on the other end of this. So
yeah, Griffin's lost all of the side bets so far. This is the first time Griffin didn't lose a side bet.
So going back, next week, I'm intrigued because it's like a
sweet
and spicy type thing.
Next week's punishment is, and this is, I don't know, I'm getting reports that there are different ways they go about doing it. Some people dip their cinnamon roll
That's what it looked
in
like
chili.
To me.
Other people just eat them at the same time. It's not important that they touch each other. They just.
I thought you would have to dip it.
What we're going to do is literally put a cinnamon roll in a bowl and dump chili over it.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. It's going to be a combination of cinnamon roll and chili is going to be the punishment for next week.
Okay.
So do you think you could come in at any point?
Yeah, at any point, yes. But we would have to discuss what that looks like.
I mean, what that looks like.
I
mean, can you come in or not?
I can, but I don't know if it's Tuesday or Wednesday.
That's fine. That's fine. The date is not. The day of the week is not important.
Yeah,
as long if you lose.
Because there's other people that I've heard we're gonna have a standing room only.
Well, for some reason, everybody's in on this side bet.
Right.
John's still in town next week. He might get back in on the side bet.
I'm just so yeah, it'll be Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday is fine. That's fine because Drew couldn't do Wednesday. I think he was going to do Tuesday as well.
Proctor said he can do Tuesday.
Proctor said he could do Tuesday. So
Tuesday.
By the way, this might work out perfectly. The Tuesday is just the day.
Because
maybe if all of us finish in a tie, we all have to eat cinnamon rolls and
I should be
chili.
on the picks this week because I could probably make Tuesday.
All right, John's in as well. John's going to be a special guest picker as well. So everybody's in for Tuesday. I have not heard from Kyle or Paul or. I guess Stecca probably won't be choosing to fly in.
More jelly.
I think a little more jelly. Yes, it doesn't seem to be touching all parts of the bread.
Yeah,
it seems
it
like
it looks like a Michigan State Spartan sandwich.
It does kind of look like a Michigan State sandwich. You're right about that.
Night.
So that will be next week's punishment. Our side bet for next week will be the cinnamon roll chili, and just about everybody's in on the side bet.
Yeah,
The four of us plus Drew. So 5 and Proctor. So 6 of us.
I mean, of all the side bets you've had, it sounds like the least disgusting one.
I don't know why. This does not interest me, man.
Really?
No. Somebody made the argument. So this is funny. My wife surprised me last night. You know, I like decorating for Christmas early. It's a big thing in my house. She surprised me, invited our old roommate over, and we decorated last night because we were away this past week and we weren't able to do it. So we decorated last night for Christmas. And when we decorate for Christmas, she likes to make chili, and she puts her tradition is put the cornbread in the chili, right?
That's what I'm thinking of.
And so that's what somebody made the argument to me yesterday is how is it all that different
Yeah.
than cornbread and chili? I'm like, because it's icing and because
just make a sweet little, like a little bit sweet. I don't know. I actually think it's going to be good.
I don't.
Okay, just put the damn.
All right, there's KZ's. Look at that. Hold that to the camera. Yeah.
So I gotta make one now, right?
Or you can ask Griffin to make it for you if you'd prefer.
Sure,
Yeah, there we go. But it doesn't just not quite as gross as Ken's. So Ken Zalis is paying off his side bet after he lost picks last week, and here is the first bite.
The worst part about this.
How's the smell? Smell it a little. Smell it a little. Yeah.
It's not. I mean,
not bad. How about eating the mic? You're a broadcast professional. You're not talking into the microphone. What is going on?
I'm trying to.
I know you retired, but for God's sake,
I'm trying not to get this like all over me.
Are you gonna? It's the other question. Is there any chance you puke?
I've never tried this before, so
maybe we bring a trash can over closer to Ken. Maybe we need to do that. Oh, there's the first bite. First bite. I didn't get a gag reflex, so I'm not happy about that. I was hoping that I was going to get a.
There's so much mayo on that. Good
There's a lot of mayo.
so awful.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes me happy. I do like that. Describe the sandwich, please.
First of all, the mint, it really isn't that strong.
Oh, that's good news for you.
It is. But
then why is it so awful?
Because the texture of this is just god awful.
It's just goo.
It's
just goo.
Yeah.
Goo sand. That was part of that. Honestly, was part of why I was not okay with this. This is something I don't know why this was a thing. This is our buddy Nick Kelly who found this for us.
It's. I'm like you. I'm not a big mayo person. The smell isn't that bad because you were kind and got wheat bread, so that gives off a certain smell. But it's the texture. It's just awful.
All right. We're gonna have John call Griffin at 10:50. Can you try to give Jayden a call real quick? All right. We're gonna have John try his as well. Ken, I think that might be a little bit cheating. By the way,
drinking something
as long as you can't wash it down.
No, I'd swallow
it
first.
Why are you not talking in the microphone? What is going on today?
Because you keep. I'm like trying.
But
to
you
do
know you're doing
things.
a show.
I'm trying to do 3
this
things.
Isn't new. You've hosted shows on multiple radio stations.
I forgot. Once you retire, you forget
it's all
things.
over.
You forget things.
It's just over at that point.
How's that? That good?
I don't find this as cheating.
As long as you're not washing it down, I'm okay with that. If you're washing it down, that's a problem.
I'm swallowing.
All right. If after that, that's fine.
Yes.
If it's like a palate cleanser, I can deal with that.
I'm not like using it to.
All right. Let's see how John feels about first bite of his.
Smell bread.
Right.
All I smell is bread.
Right. That's the good part of it.
All right. Let's see. No, not quite as much on John's sandwich, of course. John went with. How you feeling about this?
The crazy thing is,
I think
all I taste is jelly. Maybe I needed more mayo on it.
No.
I'll trade sandwiches. This is ridiculous.
It's
He
not
said
terrible,
more
but it's not something you would ever desire.
Never in a million years would you want this.
I mean, there's no way I would gag or anything from this, but it's just not desirable.
You better sop that up. You got mayo and jelly coming out of your sandwich. You better consume that somehow.
We got Chick-fil-A napkins there that you can use.
Yeah, right. Got to eat the whole thing, bud.
I am.
You got to eat the whole thing.
He made the sandwich. Whatever falls is his problem.
Oh no, that's cheating. I would, but
smell a mint when you.
We got to talk to Jayden Umbarger, and then we're going to talk Dominique Foxworth. Before we do picks, I would actually like to try just the jelly. I just want to try a little spoonful, just a spoonful of jelly. I would like. I don't.
It fell
just
out.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna take that little bite, see how I feel about that. All right.
All
right.
Again, it's not awful.
It's really not.
No, I'm not.
The mint is very faint.
Very faint.
Very faint.
Yes.
The mint
Yes.
of the jelly.
It is not. It is not terrible.
The crazy thing is you don't taste the mint, but if you smell that jar, it's all mint.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I
the
did
crazy
before.
thing.
Like before, I was like, let me smell what this is like. I was like, oh, this is going to be terrible. This is a texture problem for me.
Yeah, I get that. Oh, the texture does seem.
This is a 100%.
What? Okay, mint apple jelly and what? If you peanut butter, it probably works, right?
I don't think that would be bad.
Yeah,
because
I think this
because of
actually-
the consistency
right, and
wouldn't be bad. I mean, this I'll be quite honest. If you needed jelly and you didn't, like you said, okay, I needed some kind of jelly, and this is all for some reason you had, you could get by with it. I mean,
I get it.
Yeah, peanut butter and jelly, this would be fine.
All right, very good. Ken's going to continue to enjoy his sandwich. John does not have to finish his. He might choose to anyway.
I'm having a problem with the word enjoy here.
Well, it seems like a pleasant way to spend a day, enjoying a delicious mint apple jelly and mayonnaise sandwich. Today's show is also brought to you by Glory Days Grill, where they have food that's much better than this. I think John and I are going to head over there in a little bit, actually. GloryDaysGrill.com is the website. The Oktoberfest menu is still available. They got $6.99 apps every night after 9 o'clock at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. Coming up this Saturday, in 2 days, right here in Baltimore, Navy, Notre Dame, noon kickoff at M&T Bank Stadium. Joining us now, a young man who is from here. This is his home. He's going to be playing at the big stadium in Baltimore. He's an Archbishop Spalding alum. He is Navy's leading receiver. Wide receiver Jayden Umbarger is with us now here on GCR. Jayden, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking a minute for us.
Yeah, of course. It's good to be on here and talk to you guys. I'm really excited for this Saturday's game.
I can only imagine, dude. Jayden, hey, before we get to Saturday, I'm on the call tomorrow night for Spalding and McDonough, which is a big one in the semifinals. It didn't go the right way last year in the semifinals. What do they got to do differently to make sure they get the job done this time around?
I think Coach Schmidt and all the coaching staff, I think they have a good grasp on their players this year and a lot of their strengths, and mostly what I've always looked at is like the offense. I think the key to this year's game will be just not getting stiff in like the big moments, just staying loose when those big moments come, because as everyone's seen like throughout the whole season, every game they've been putting up so many points. They have a great quarterback, great skill players, offensive line. And I think if they just continue to play how, they were playing the whole season and just not let the big moment of, being a semifinal game catch up to them, I think they'll be good.
It's well said, man. And Malik Washington, Max Moss, that's been a hell of a combo this season. Those kids look really, really good. Jayden,
yeah, they do.
This Saturday, playing at M&T Bank Stadium, you're a kid who grew up here, right? And I know that playing just for Navy is special, and every game that you guys play is special. But, playing Notre Dame on ABC at M&T Bank Stadium, can you put into words what this uniquely means to you?
It just, it goes back to, it reminds me of just my youth football days, actually, because I don't think many people know this, but when I played youth football for the Middle River Renegades in Baltimore County, we would go to state championship almost every year.
Wow.
And we actually play at M&T Bank. So I've played at M&T Bank probably, 5 times when I was younger.
That's cool.
So, you kind of see how everything comes full circle in a way. I'm back at M&T Bank Stadium playing a big game, big time football. So it just means a lot, have my family come out, having people watch the game that are from Baltimore, and you just hope that everybody can see how, especially where I'm from, just how I'm a kid that was just in that spot where I didn't know I would be playing against Notre Dame here one day, but it took a lot, and it just hopefully kids that are looking up to me can just see that they can do it as well.
That's really cool, man. That's a really cool way of looking at it. Did you grow up a Ravens fan, Jayden?
Yeah, ever since I was young. When at my old house, I used to have the whole Ray Lewis fathead. Yeah, I had a Ravens blankets. You know, I was a Ravens fan ever since I could watch football. So it's also cool, just like I said, just being there and just being in that environment. Because, you know, you see the NFL players go out there on game day, and then now you're out there. It's like, well, I'm almost like them in a way. But, yeah, diehard Ravens fan for sure.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I imagine running out of the tunnel is a big deal. You got to do it as a kid. Now you get to do it again on Saturday. That's a really cool thing. Jayden Umbarger is with us from Navy. They get ready for Notre Dame this Saturday. Jayden, what jumps out at me about your team, you've had to go up against a brutally difficult schedule, and on top of that, other teams that have had 5th, 6-year guys on their roster because of how things worked out that you guys haven't. And yet, you know, despite some tough setbacks, nothing has, you know, made you guys break. You guys have remained competitive throughout the course of the season. How have you done that, and how do you translate that into shocking the world on Saturday when you go up against Notre Dame?
Yeah, you know, our coach always talks about it, how, you know, it's hard to win, right? And I think, you know, early in the season, you know, your team's figuring out, you're still kind of figuring yourself out. I think by this time of the year, everybody on our team, you know, they really understand their role, and they really understand how hard it is to win. And I think that because of that, and because, like you said, we played in these big games, and, you know, it's nothing new to us. I think it's really about just, and Coach talks about this all the time, it's just our pregame preparation and just preparing. And I'm not just talking about, like, physical-wise, because obviously, like, you know, everybody at this point in the season, everybody's banged up, you know, and everybody knows, you know, when it comes game time, how to be physical. But, you know, just preparing your mind just to be in that environment, I think is the most like important thing, because, you know, you can be ready physically all you want, and then if your mind's not there, it just won't happen, because that's the connection you got to have. So I think just if we prepare mentally to, you know, to be in a dogfight, and prepare to win, really, you know, not going out there making it any bigger than it is. I mean, it's a big game, but they bleed like we bleed, you know. So just be being prepared mentally.
I get that.
Is the key.
I get it. Obviously, you guys in your lives are going to be tasked with far more difficult things than football games. I understand it. With that in mind, Jay, I want to know about your own personal decision, right? Like, you know, obviously it's an opportunity to play D1 football, but it ain't easy. You know what you're signing up for when you go to the Naval Academy. You're a kid who grew up here, right in your backyard. Why did you make this decision, and why were you comfortable with the idea of this is the right path for me to play at Navy and know what the commitment is that's ahead for me?
Yeah, you know, I think for me, obviously it started with football, right? Like, you know, going to Spalding. I was looking to get, you know, some D1 offers, and then there was 2 quarterbacks that had came before me, Evan Fockman and Zach Davey, that both went to Navy. So kind of having them as a you know, as people that had went before me, allowed me to, you know, kind of get those looks from the Service Academy and other schools, along with, like, my play. But obviously, like, you know, I think it helped that I had a lot of good players around me as well, and that good players came before me. So, but, you know, after they had reached out to me, I mean, I had a couple offers, most significant, like I said, Army and Navy. And my thing was, as I talked with my parents about it, was what about after football, about life after football. So for me personally, obviously I wanted to go somewhere and play Division I football. Then when my parents paying for school, so that was really important to me. At the same time, I love the game of football, and, you know, I didn't really think about the NFL, but you just never know. You want to suck every ounce of a football out as you can.
Sure.
That, you know, when you're a football player. But really, the second part of that was just understanding that what comes after football. You know, I'll get out and I'll be an officer in the military. So it's like, you really couldn't ask for anything more as far as like character development and becoming a leader in this world. And it has all these implications even after you're out the military. So I really wanted to challenge myself to be the best person I can. And I had visited the Naval Academy and talked to a lot of people, and you know, just doing that. I mean, I heard so much about how this place, you know, and being in the military and, you know, Navy football, it'll challenge you and it'll make you grow as a person. And being a junior here now, you know, you really see it come to life. How being here, it's like there's so many challenges every day. But, you know, I'm a junior now and I'm still here and still thriving. So it's like, it's cool to see how it like, your fruits of your labor kind of
awesome.
come. But I really just wanted to just be overall a better person. I felt like this place was going to provide me that.
Jayden, dude, that was one of the great answers I've ever heard to a question that I've ever asked on this show, man. That really gave me, like, goosebumps, bro. Like, that was really powerful, the statement that you just made about being there at the Naval Academy. And we are grateful to have young men like yourself who are choosing to represent us and to serve for the people in this country. I hope you know that man, that really blew me away, bro. That was an incredible answer that you just gave. Jayden, I know on Twitter it's at JJAYY NUMBA 2 TWO, correct? That's where people can give you a follow?
Yes.
Jayden, please go out, shock the world, show everybody what Navy football is about this Saturday, man. We'll be pulling for you. It's such a cool opportunity that you get to play at M&T Bank Stadium in front of a national audience. Can't wait to see what you guys are able to do. Appreciate you taking the time for us. Continued success, and look forward to chatting with you more as your Navy career continues, all right?
Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for allowing me to talk on the show, and I'll be looking forward to speaking in the future and also being Notre Dame this Saturday.
No doubt, man. Love it. Go Navy. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. All right, bye.
Jayden Umbarger, dude, that kicked ass. Wow. Yo, it's a reason for hope, man. How about that young man right there?
I agree with you. That I'm, as he was talking, you know, I'm nodding my head. It's like, what tremendous insight for. I mean, and
go back and talk to me when I was 20 years old, dude. That legitimately brought a tear to my eye.
That's what I mean. You forget as he's talking that this kid's 19, 20 years old. Like you forget how old he is. That was really impressive. Very impressive.
That was so cool. All right. How you feeling? How's it?
I'm good.
How's it going over there?
I still got an hour to go, so I'll be good. I'm about 3/4 the way through.
All right.
It's getting worse.
It looks like St. Patrick's Day on a plate, by the way. John, John already finished?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's
okay,
like,
hang on. Can you turn John's mic back on for a second, Griffin, please?
He's had 3 sandwiches already.
Yeah, it's been done.
It
wasn't bad, really.
All right,
it would have been 100 times better with a grape jelly or a strawberry jelly.
Well, yeah.
I just think
because you like mayo, you're saying you go home.
The thing of it is, this would have been 100. I couldn't probably eat this if it was all ketchup and mint jelly or mustard and mint jelly.
But you're all. Well, that sounds revolting.
So all the mayo sandwich, all the people that are coming up with these things are mayo haters. That's the thing.
God, I am chief among that group. Chief among that group. All right, you still got time.
I'm
You're not going to puke,
No, I don't think so.
All right.
It is getting much, much worse as we go on.
All right.
My sandwich was much lighter on the mayo, I will say.
Yes. And you like mayo,
but
unlike...
It wouldn't have been a big deal. It's nothing.
Good thing you're like a nice human being.
Hey, the Baltimore area Chick-fil-A restaurants invite you to support Toys for Tots this Saturday, November 12th. Donate a new toy at any of their 11 Stuff the Truck locations and receive a free sandwich offer card as a thank you. For more information, visit PressBoxOnline.com/toy drive. We'll make some picks coming up here in a few minutes. Right now, it's been far too long since I've had the opportunity to catch up with a longtime friend of ours, someone who is now a media mogul, a media superstar. He is a Baltimore native, and, of course, you see him and hear him on ESPN and all of the various platforms. He is former Terp, former Raven, the great Mr. Dominique Foxworth, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Dom, it's Glenn back in Baltimore. It's great to catch up, brother. It's amazing to see you continue to kill it. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Oh, no problem, man. Happy to do it.
Dude, it's been way too long. First of all, how do you have time for everything? How do you have time to talk to me right now? You're the hardest working man in show business.
Yeah. I'm not in show business, and B, you make time for the things that are important to you. So, yeah, Baltimore is important to me, and for obvious reasons. So, happy to talk to you guys, especially now the Ravens playing well and moving in the right direction. It's a lot more fun to talk about them now than it was
I heard John
back when they were blowing for the lead.
Yeah, that wasn't so great. I heard you on with Mina this week, and I want to go to a couple places. First of all, what they've done these last 2 weeks, the number that keeps jumping out at me, they've averaged 38 minutes and 5 seconds of possession over the last 2 games against the Buccaneers and Saints. And I get it, it's the Buccaneers and Saints. But they did that largely without at all J.K. Dobbins, without Gus Edwards for most of it, without Mark Andrews for most of it. Like, do you look at what they're doing and see them developing the type of identity that is translatable to, if you can keep doing this, you can beat anyone in the AFC?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not a new or unique identity for the Ravens, particularly because this is what they've been. Good defense is what the Ravens have been since the Ravens have been in Baltimore, and the running game is the crux of their offense since they got Lamar. So, it's not a surprise that they're doing it. It's not a surprise that it's effective. And one of the things that I think is most attractive about them as, a potential Super Bowl contender is that it's unique. And beating Bills, it feels like what the Bills want to do is they want to score on teams early and force those teams to drop back and pass and allow their really good pass rushers and their really good safeties when they're healthy to impact the game. It takes pressure off of their cornerbacks and that sort of stuff. But a team like the Ravens, what they want to do and what they're best at is running the ball. And I think that's going to be a challenge for most teams.
Oh, Donnie. Oh. All right, let's see if we can't. No, all right. Dom, yeah, you lost. I lost you for a second, but I understand exactly what you're saying about that. I guess the question becomes, does it translate specifically to the best? Can you do this? And it's a question we've been asking because the Ravens, to your point, it's been their identity, and yet they've struggled in the postseason. Can you do it and beat Josh Allen? Can you do it and beat Patrick Mahomes? Or ultimately, are you going to have to be able to score 30 points to beat teams like that?
Yeah, so I think they can score 30 points in that style, but I don't think that it's a. So I guess I'd be lying if I said that it wouldn't be better if they could pass the ball. They have this particular personnel, and they're really good at doing what they're doing. So is it going to be hard to beat Josh Allen? Yes. Is it going to be hard to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? Yes. That's true for everybody. But most teams don't have a way to actually do that. They're hoping that they out Mahomes. That's what the other argument people are making is
right.
You have to be able to throw and score a lot of points to beat Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. We just saw the Titans almost beat almost beat.
Yeah.
With a quarterback that threw for 80 yards.
Right.
So, I think it's a bit of a fallacy that people are presenting when they're well, you got to be able to score with the Chiefs and score with the Bills. It'd be nice if everyone could do that, but not everyone can do that. So I think that the Ravens have a different way of going about it, which I think makes them a legitimate threat to those teams. And like I mentioned, we just saw the Titans show that it can be done. And it feels a little bit disingenuous, honestly, to be they've struggled in the playoffs, so maybe this doesn't work. One team wins the Super Bowl every year.
That's right.
If you don't win the Super Bowl, it doesn't mean that your strategy is flawed. I think offensively, everyone would rather have the Chiefs' offense than what the Ravens have offensively. But most teams would rather have what the Ravens have than what they have. So I think it's a much more positive outlook than I think most people have.
Dominique Foxworth is with us on GCR. Dom, what you just said is interesting because, you're not going to believe this, but in Baltimore there are people that don't like the offensive coordinator. It's a new thing. It's never happened before. It's a unique thing that's going on this year. And the funny part to me is whatever your opinion of Greg Roman is, and I'm a results guy. Like, I like the fact that the Ravens offense is, you know damn well the Ravens offense has not always been very good over the years. And ever since Greg Roman arrived, they've been a top 10 scoring offense every year. I like results, and so I'm good with that. The thing that jumps out to me is it felt like at the beginning of the season when you alluded to the struggles they were going through, they weren't running a Greg Roman offense. They were doing something else, which was very confusing to me. If you're going to have Greg Roman as your coordinator, shouldn't you just be playing to what your identity is and saying, why fake it? Why try to go be the Kansas City Chiefs? They've got Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be hard to beat that. Why not try to do what you do as well as you possibly can and take your chances winning that way?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And, I mean, there are reasonable criticisms, I think, to have of Greg Roman in this offense. The one that jumps out to me is, like, there aren't enough, like, deep shot plays. But, like, I understand the reason for that is in part because the defense was not good early in the season. They've gotten better. And the deep shot plays make it more likely that you're going to have a 3-and-out and turn the ball over because those are low-risk plays. But I like those plays in part because what the Ravens do so well is run the ball. And that causes the defenses to be more aggressive in the box and load it up. And that, like, makes them more susceptible. And like, the other thing that you really beat the Ravens with at one point was blitzing Lamar Jackson, forcing him to make his decision more quickly and get rid of the ball quickly. I think that people assume that you stop teams from blitzing by picking up the blitz. I don't think so. I think you stop teams by blitzing by making them pay for blitzing. And so if they blitz and you successfully complete a 5-yard pass, that's not going to stop them from blitzing you again. So they're like, fine, we'll blitz you 10 times. You'll complete 6 5-yard passes, and then we'll get a sack that one time, which will kill your drive. So, like, I'd love to see them attack. And now that the defense is playing a little bit better, I'd love to see them attack down the field. But the problem with that is Bateman's hurt, and you brought in Deshaun Jackson, whom I love, but it's not like 2010. So they're in a tough spot when your best offensive weapons are tight ends. It's hard to create big passing plays. So I think they're doing, like, Greg Roman and the team is doing the best they can with what they have right now.
By the way, your comparison that you made about the 5-yard pass, it's almost like the same thing we talk about in baseball with bunting against the shift. Everybody's like, well, why wouldn't you just bunt against the shift? And the answer is because they're happy with that. They're not going to come out of the shift. They don't want you to hit they don't want you to go to the outfield. They're okay with you hitting a single in those situations. So it's a very good comparison, Dom. Let me go this way. You bring up, what they don't have. And Deshaun Jackson, again, it made a nice catch on Monday night. We'll see if he can be a helpful piece. But there is a guy that's out there. If you were the Ravens, would you be, screaming and texting Odell Beckham every day trying to get him to come here? Or do you sort of say, hey, work with what you got. Go do your thing with the guys that you have right now?
I'm never opposed to adding more talent. That seems like a good thing. Odell has a big personality. I don't think that's necessarily – I don't think that's a problem or going to be a problem. It depends on what it costs, obviously, and the commitment that we'll see what the market is for Odell Beckham, and we'll see how healthy he is coming off of 2 back-to-back ACL injuries. So all that stuff matters. But if there's a talented player out there at a position where you are a bit deficient and injured, then you absolutely go after a player like that. And getting Odell in man coverage, which he's going to see a lot of in Baltimore, given how well Lamar runs the ball, that's scary. And it's an impact defense. He's a big play guy. And one of the things about a player like him is, what I mentioned about beating the blitz is you don't want to give up this 5-yard, or the defense is comfortable with tackling you after giving up 5 yards. One of the things about Odell or a player like that is you can throw him that 5-yard pass, and he might turn it into a 30-yard pass. True. And that has the same effect as a deep pass. They'll be less likely to blitz because then they're going to have to leave somebody on Odell who might turn it into a big play. So one of the biggest challenges that the Ravens have is they don't have those type of players right now, be it because of injury or roster construction, but it puts a ton of pressure on Lamar.
That's a great point. That's a really, really good point. Just another minute or two here with Dominique Foxworth on GCR. Dom, I wanted to get your perspective on the Lamar situation because yours is unique, having previously been the president of the Players Association. I was told over the summer that, there might be, someone who's been in Lamar's ear about the fact that, hey, dude, last couple quarterbacks didn't take fully guaranteed, and if we don't do it, nobody's ever getting fully guaranteed, right? Like, it's not going to be the tight end that's going to be able to walk in and demand fully guaranteed if the quarterbacks aren't getting it. We know that football players want fully guaranteed deals. How important is it for the entirety of the Players Association for Lamar to keep up the fight and say, I'm not going to let Deshaun Watson be the last one. If that's what the market is, I deserve and I demand that I get fully guaranteed as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think on its face, it seems like it's a real big, important deal for the future of players. But I think more than anything, it's a big, important deal for maybe the future of quarterbacks. The fully guaranteed contract for football players, I think, is something that a lot of players think that they want. But in actual practice, I don't think it changes things that much. Because right now, what happens is you get a portion of your contract guaranteed. And very few players will ever have the leverage to get 200+ million guaranteed. Most guys will just get smaller contracts. That portion that was guaranteed will then become the entire contract if we ever transition to a place where players had fully guaranteed contracts. They're not going to sign these big contracts with big numbers that it's like $100 million and 60s guaranteed. What will probably happen if we ever went to a world where all football contracts were guaranteed is that they would just get a $60 million contract. And so I don't know that, or I don't feel like anyone has, very few players. You got to be like a franchise quarterback, top level quarterback to be able to get a contract that is of similar size, fully guaranteed. I don't know if I'm too much in the weeds.
This is interesting.
I don't.
This is the nerdy
I don't imagine
stuff.
I don't imagine that like a regular run-of-the-mill, even top-of-the-line free agent is going to pass rusher is going to get like their whole contract guaranteed. Sometimes that the extra money, like the phantom money that's in the contract, is helpful to the player because it forces them to either pay you, like you backload your contract and it's like a huge salary in the final year, and it forces the team to renegotiate with you or release you
and you get more money.
So you get more money. So I think the intricacies of the contract are a little bit more complex than like fully guaranteed or not.
That's fascinating. I mean, that really is fascinating to me, dude. Like that maybe in a world it's not necessarily the most important thing to have fully guaranteed money. I hadn't thought about that whatsoever. It just seems like, hey, I want to make sure I get it. And I've always thought it was interesting with the quarterbacks, right? Because they're never getting cut, right? Like if all the people to fight about a fully guaranteed money, this never happens. You never see a quarterback who gets cut because the cost of the team would be so dramatic they simply can't do it.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
I mean, other players need fully guaranteed contracts. Quarterbacks are on the lower end of that spectrum because we protect them by rule, and even after a few bad years, their value is still there. You see how many quarterbacks. Well, it might be different for Lamar for obvious reasons why people may not everyone believes in him the way that some teams do. But for most quarterbacks, if you had 1 year, and you can get contracts for the rest of your life with somebody signing you and picking you up.
Yep, constantly. It's worked out all right for a couple of those guys. They've done really well for themselves. There's some numbers that have floated around about guys with. Who was it? The guy in Detroit, was it? Oh my God, Doyle, was that the guy's name that like made just a boatload of money despite the fact that he had never played? You're like, man, it's got to be good work. Got to be good work if you can get it.
There's plenty of them. Like Case Keenum might be popping in for the Bills this week.
Yeah,
like had him a good year in Minnesota, and that'll get you paid for the rest of your career.
Life is good. Life is good. All right, I'm going to ask you what I can plug for you, but we only have so much time left in the show, so I probably can't plug.
I mean, my podcast will be good, Dominique Foxworth Show. So yeah, if you want to check that out, download it, rate it, review it, all that good stuff, I appreciate it on Apple, Spotify, whatever.
Can you come back on with us during the World Cup? Can we talk some soccer with you during the World Cup? Is that
sure?
I would love to do that.
Absolutely.
I'd love to do that. At Foxworth24 is how you follow him, bro. It's I love watching you and seeing how much you've killed it, and just what a superstar you've become in this business, man. Thank you for taking time for us this morning, and appreciate everything you do.
No problem.
All
right, man. Thank you.
Dominique Foxworth joining us here on GCR, Baltimore native. It's a really interesting thought about, the quarterbacks and guaranteed money, where he's like, you know what, man, it might not be the most important thing to get fully guaranteed deals.
It's probably not, because it goes into the whole salary cap and all that stuff.
Yep.
I mean, if everybody's guaranteed, I mean, the salary cap's not expanding, you're going to have problems, and it could be at some point people lose their jobs because they can't get paid, or what they tried to do with the rookie salaries and giving more to the veterans. Those veterans get cut because you can't guarantee their money, and there's more younger players coming into the league. I don't know.
I don't have the correct answer.
I don't have it
100%, but it's just a fascinating thought that Dominique Foxworth provides. Hey, don't forget, $100 sign-up bonus, pre-registration bonus right now is available from our friends at FanDuel, but you got to go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers. You know that online sports betting is coming, and if you pre-register with FanDuel, you can take advantage of $100 in addition to the new user promo that you're going to get when they go live. That wasn't going to be puke.
No,
All right. I'm rooting for puke. Just go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers right now to get your $100 FanDuel pre-registration bonus credit. PressBoxOnline.com/offers. When we come back in, the most robust version of picks we've ever done. We got 9 pickers this week. John from Little Rock's in. Drew Forrester's in. We got a great side bet for next week that apparently Ken Zalis is actually hoping to lose. So
Not hoping to lose.
Well, I don't know. You haven't finished your sandwich yet.
I will. I got
see.
40 minutes.
We'll see. We got to do the betting show today, so we don't quite have 40 minutes. All right. We'll come back in and make picks. It's Glenn Clark Radio. The Baltimore County Police Department is hiring. Entry-level officers start at close to $59,000 a year with a $10,000 bonus. Some restrictions apply. Plus a great retirement plan, medical, dental, and vision insurance, advancement to specialized units, tuition reimbursement, 15 sick days earned per calendar year, and even further incentives for military members and veterans. If you have a passion for service and want a career for life, visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com or call 410-887-5542. You must be a United States citizen, possess a valid driver's license, and have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. The Baltimore County Police Department is an equal opportunity employer.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
Glory Days Grill's Oktoberfest menu is now running. It's one of their most popular seasonal menus all year. It features the chicken schnitzel, the Oktoberfest brewer's platter, the brewer's sausage sandwich, the Bavarian burger with a pretzel bun, the cheddar ale soup, the slam dunk pretzels, and the apple cobbler. All of these meals pair well with Oktoberfest beers and Angry Orchard on draft. Dine in or order online at glorydaysgrill.com and pick up your favorites to take home. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Have you been to Guilford Hall Brewery? Located in Baltimore's Station North neighborhood, Guilford Hall Brewery breaks the craft brew mold with their great handcrafted microbrews and amazing Bavarian-style food selections. Join Guilford Hall 7 days a week for Orioles, Ravens, and all of your favorite college games. Make plans now to watch the big games, play trivia, or bring your dog for Yappy Hour. They even have free valet service on Friday and Saturday nights. Go to guilfordhall.com for a complete schedule of events, beer listings, and food and drink specials. We'll see you at Guilford Hall Brewery.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Receive a free Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich offer card as a thank you when you donate to Toys for Tots on Saturday, November 12th at any of the 13 Baltimore area Chick-fil-A Stuff the Truck event sites. Be one of the first 50 people to donate, and you will also get a free t-shirt. For a location list and more information, visit PressBoxOnline.com/toy drive.
Tune in to Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday at 11:40 a.m. And if you really have nothing better to do, keep listening to this show too.
So I just looked over at Ken's sandwich, and it legitimately, because of all the green on it, it looks like there's mold all over the bread. It just looks so disgusting now. But he's almost there. He's probably got about 5 or 6 bites left, I would say, of his mayo and mint apple jelly sandwich that he's been consuming. Although he's left half of it on the plate, if we're being honest. He's like half of the sandwich didn't make it.
You can argue this point all you want. It's not happening.
Oh, what a piece of what a bad guy you are. What a bad sport. Bad form, Zalis. Well, they say fair play in soccer, right? This is not a fair play. This is
more than fair.
Is there an opposite of fair play, John? Is there a what do they say when it's not fair play?
That's a good question.
I genuinely don't know the answer to that.
A hack job. I don't know.
Hack job. We'll go with that. Hack job. Hack job. You hack. Love Casey.
Dangerously
I
close
love
to
Casey.
me.
I love
You're
Casey.
so dangerously close to me.
It's great to have him. It's great to have him back. It's been too long. Hey, the Tyus Bowser show returns next Tuesday night. John's going to be there. He's coming out next Tuesday. We will be at Mother's North Grill in Timonium with Tyus and a special guest. It's a partnership with Press Box and Grade 8's Memorabilia. It's brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialists, the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. And it'll be great to finally talk to Tyus about being back out on the field. It was kind of emotional for all of us seeing him get back out there and immediately make a play on Monday night, which was awesome. Happy for him. He is one of the best humans that I've ever gotten to know doing these things, so I'm looking forward to being back out with him next Tuesday night. Mother's North Grill in Timonium. I would encourage you to get there early. Literally the biggest crowd we had all year last year was at Mother's North Grill in Timonium. You know, it's a big listener base for us. It's going to be a packed show. It's going to be a packed show, so I'd encourage you to get there. We start at 7. I would try to make sure you get there a little bit before that to make sure you guarantee your table. All right, guys, it is time for picks for this week, and there is much at stake, especially after we had a miserable week a week ago. By the way, how about Griffin's snarky comment in the email that he sent out this week?
What did he
I
didn't read it.
The first line in Griffin's email with all the games this week was, I want to make sure there's no confusion this week. Like he's the manager at the office and he's scolding everyone. I want to make sure there's
so bad.
There's no confusion this week. You're trying to get your picks right.
Not that I had much room to talk. But
yeah, you stunk too.
It was so bad from a group like
that. It was a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath, much like Donald Trump Jr. said the election was. Send me the team you think covers, not the other way around. Griffin. Paul is the only one who understood last week, apparently. Of course,
barely understood. Yeah.
Paul went 4-3, which was
red hot.
Oh my God!
No, I didn't even see that somebody had a winning record.
Magical. Yeah, we've got to the point where I am now 500 for the year and in
winning.
first place. First place. KZ and Paul are a game back. John Proctor is 3 games back. Griffin is 4 games back. Ottenheimer is 6 games back, and now closer to the worm. Tim from Bel Air, who's making the worm burger, is rooting against Kyle. He wants Kyle to be the loser. We haven't seen Kyle in a while. It'd be great to have him come back and be the one that has to. Because remember, Kyle always says, well, I just won't lose.
Right.
That was always his.
It is his thing.
He's like, dude, I don't want to do that. And I'd be like, well, you're going to have to. Be like, well, I just won't lose. So it would be pretty good if this ended with him losing. Stecca is the worm, however, at the moment. Again, at the top of the table, playing for a little bit of cash. At the bottom of the table, don't want to be the worm. Got to come in here and consume a worm burger. Dress as the worm, Dennis Rodman, in the wedding dress. Perform the worm from Scotty Too Hottie, and then take a Rikishi-style stink face as well. That is the loser's responsibility. This week, the 4 of us at the table, plus Drew Forrester and John Proctor, all in for a side bet. Loser or losers will be in here on Tuesday consuming A cinnamon roll and chili, which is apparently some sort of a delicacy in the Plains. I don't understand it. But KZ's excited about it. John, are you actually excited about it,
I'm
or
not excited,
you're
but I'll go for
you're
it.
begrudgingly willing to
Yeah, I would
participate for
try.
the fun of the game?
You could have another mint jelly and
right.
mayonnaise sandwich.
Are we getting real chili and not like canned garbage?
Griffin's got a neighbor that apparently can just demand makes chili at all time. Griffin can walk over at 2 a.m. after a few beers and be like, "Make me some chili, Jim," and the guy will just make him some chili. All right, so we got a lot of picks to make. We got to try to move through this. John, by the way, has been a bit of an expert about college throughout the year. I'm a little bit nervous about that because I have been miserable with college picks all season long. So we'll see how this goes.
First things first, in our backyard, number 20, Notre Dame taking on Navy at M&T Bank Stadium, noon on ABC. Navy is getting 15.5 at M&T Bank Stadium.
The funny thing is I don't like the line. I really don't. But I don't think that I can do it. I think I have to go Notre Dame.
I'm actually shocked it's only 15.
Right.
I like
yeah,
I
but
get.
But you understand how Navy, the way they want to play is to limit possessions.
I understand, but usually, like Vegas, you look at Notre Dame coming off that really massive win.
And back-to-back really good win. They beat Syracuse the week before. They have turned things around. That wasn't a fluke last week.
I think this is probably close for a half because you got the emotion you're playing in M&T, but Navy's too good. Notre Dame's too good. I got to go with Notre Dame.
John?
Being a Navy vet, it's always Navy for me.
I love it. It's
Veterans Day weekend. I'm always taking Navy.
You know what? You're a good man. The rest of us are really terrible people. We just picked against Navy on Veterans Day weekend. What's wrong with us?
I know. And then we just talked to
Jaylen. We just talked to Jayden Umbarger.
I hope he has a fabulous day.
Who was amazing. Who literally brought a tear to my eye. He was so good.
So my strategy had been, taking the kid that we just talked to. And we talked to DJ Brown yesterday. So I was on Notre Dame last night. And, I don't think I can switch it. I'm going to stay on Notre Dame.
Right. Anybody on Navy?
So Kyle's on Navy.
Okay.
Drew Forster on Navy. And John and Little.
All right. Very good. Oh, that means we've got Stecca. Son of a bitch. Oh, it gets so much worse. All right.
Number 4, TCU at number 18, Texas, 7:30 on ABC.
By the way, we don't on the sheet. We don't have spots for Drew or John, so you've got to keep track of that and put it on. All right. Very good.
And game days there. Texas is laying 7.5 against the 4th-ranked Horned Frogs.
Obviously, this is a massive for TCU, right? Because this stands to be at the moment they're in the playoff. Like their path is there. All they got to do is hold their business, and they reach the playoff. Texas is what's the number?
It's -7.5 for Texas. Yes.
-7.5 for Texas?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it is.
Texas is favored by 7.5.
Yes.
I'm getting TCU at 7.5.
Yep, you're getting TCU.
But this really confuses me because what do they know?
I'm very confused too.
What?
I know.
The Sharps know. The line screams Texas. The line screams
This is
Texas.
the crazy part, right? I don't know anything about this. So I have to. I have no choice. Because Ken's right. By any reasonable stretch, you just take TCU in the points. But there's no way this line can be this number if they don't know something. I have to take Texas.
I can't.
I hear you.
I've watched TCU a lot.
They look great.
They've looked fantastic. They can do it on the ground. They can do it through the air. Similar opponents, I get it. I think it's a close game. If you would tell me that Texas is going to win the game, okay.
Yeah.
But by more than a touchdown.
I hear you.
I'm not doing it. I'm taking TCU.
Yeah. I'm all over Texas on this game. It screams Texas. The Sharps are on Texas. The public's on TCU.
This is a follow the money thing.
Yeah, this is you just look at the number. Look at the line. The line screams Texas.
Yeah, I'm with KZ. I can't do it either. TCU.
I hear you.
Getting
I
7.5.
understand.
It's impossible.
I think TCU is going to be they're undefeated, but this is the week they get exposed.
I think if you had asked me on Monday, if you had come to me on Monday and say, "Hey, do you think TCU plays within a touchdown of Texas?" I would have said, "Absolutely, of course they do." But the line.
I know.
Yep.
All right, so Glenn on Texas, John on Texas. One other
John
person,
from Little Rock.
John,
It's important that we differentiate
you're right.
Johns.
John in Little Rock. John John, and then John Proctor's Jon.
Right.
One other person on Texas. It is Stetka.
No.
That's a killer.
Yeah, it really is. Next.
In Happy Valley, number 14 Penn State hosting Maryland at 3:30 on Fox. Penn State getting laying 10, at home.
This is the funny part, right? I actually think that Maryland is far better suited for this game than they were for what happened at Wisconsin, right? Like, again, going back, if you had told me they literally wouldn't be capable of throwing the football, then I would have said, okay, well, there's no world. They can't win up front against Wisconsin. They're not capable of doing that. Now, I don't know what the weather's supposed to be at Penn State, in fairness, because there's supposed to be some weather tomorrow night, right, around here?
Yeah.
It's like weird. It's like it's gonna get cold. I don't know what day it's gonna. I don't know what day the front's going to.
Yeah, I was warned that because we're doing the.
I thought it was later in the weekend. I don't know.
We're doing the Spalding game tomorrow night, and I was warned there was going to be some
Yeah.
weather for that one, which of course, I think makes a few people nervous about it. I'm just not gonna. I learned my lesson. Penn State. I can't do it again. I can't.
So, does it seem odd to anybody that it's only 10 though?
No, because I think
With
that
what Maryland
I
just
think
did.
they're overreacting to. Dude, I don't know how much it came across on TV.
Oh,
it
it's
was
awful.
some of the worst weather I've
I know
ever
lots of people that were
ever seen at a football game. It was horrendous. Now, I still think they should have at least attempted to throw the ball at some point in the first half. Like when they realized we're not moving the ball, maybe you should have attempted to throw it. But my God, the wind was swirling in a way that you just had no idea what that ball might do if you did.
Who'd you take?
I took Penn State.
I've been on this Maryland kick. It's worked really well.
Yeah, except for the fact that you've been losing points.
I have.
And now you're under 500.
But I had been going. See, it was.
But
working,
you also do want to eat the cinnamon roll and chili.
It was working well because I was doing relatively well. So I was like, I'll throw the Maryland away, and I'll go 2-1 in the college games. I'm okay. I can't do it anymore.
That gives Maryland a chance.
The line.
Maryland's got a chance now.
I can't believe it's only 10 that I have to give for a terrible Maryland team going up against a good Penn State team.
I think you're exaggerating that a little bit.
The terrible or good?
I think that it's not a terrible Maryland team.
They've been exposed. They haven't beaten a soul this year.
Okay, but they didn't. Michigan didn't cover 10 points against them.
They did not.
So I think Michigan's better than Penn State.
Get one good game a year.
All right, just get to the point.
Penn State.
All right, very good. John?
I'm on Maryland.
Okay.
Bounce back from that atrocious
You get 10
game
points to
last
work
week.
with.
Taking the points. I wouldn't take a money line, but I'll take the points.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll use a John strategy. 91% of the money is on Penn State here. I think we're staring at a sheep slaughter here. I pick Maryland every week. Going to keep doing it. I'm taking Maryland as well. So me and John and Little Rock on Maryland, as well as Andrew Stetka.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well,
boy, that's a lot of agreement that John and Little Rock had with Andrew Stetka. That's an awkward scenario to be in.
Dangerous.
All right.
To the NFL, 9:30 in the morning on Sunday on NFL Network because it's being played in Munich. Seahawks taking on the Buccaneers. Bucks -3 in Germany.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, the only thing I could sense is that it's an extreme. By the way, great on the NFL to keep having Western teams playing at 9:30 in the morning. Just a bang-up job. Denver earlier in the season. It's got to be wonderful in those markets to be. It's extreme already to ask people to watch football at 9:30 in the morning. 6:30 a.m. is when your team is playing. That's just dynamite stuff from the NFL and trying to create a new television market. I'm sure that kills. I don't know, man. Like Seattle. Like what are we doing? One of these teams is better. Seattle.
Yeah, I didn't think about this one at all. It's Seattle. I mean, everybody's talking about Geno Smith and how good he's been, which he has been.
Their defense
is
unbelievable.
Unreal, with 2 rookie corners that we raved about on draft day. It's Seattle. They're the better team. It's only a field goal.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Tampa.
Woo!
Brady's back.
Woo! One drive. Enough to anoint. One drive. John and Little Rock back on board.
Paul is on the Bucks. Kyle is on the Bucks. John and Little Rock on the Bucks. Everybody else.
That means we get
Seattle.
Stetka.
Yeah,
That's
we do get
not
Stetka.
good news. That is not what we were looking for there.
Minnesota at Buffalo, 1 o'clock on Fox. As of last night, it was Buffalo -3.5. That line has been moving all week as Josh Allen does not look good.
Oh boy, I hate that. We should have probably tossed this game out. Damn it. What's the line? It's
-3.5 for Buffalo.
and you got to deal with it's a 1 o'clock game, right? So it's Kirk Cousins at 1 o'clock on a
Kirk
Sunday.
Cousins prime time.
I know.
And you might not have Josh Allen.
Didn't work great last week for Kirky.
Well, they pushed. It was fine. It was fine. They pushed. All good there.
You're on the 1 foot line. Get a touchdown.
And it's 3.5. I think that you have to pick Minnesota. I just think that, given the fact that you got the points to work with, and there might not be Josh Allen, and it's Kirk Cousins at 1 o'clock, I don't think you have a choice. I think you have to take Minnesota.
No, I agree with that. I just whether Allen plays or not, he's not going to be 100%. Minnesota's a good football team, whether anybody wants to believe it or not. It's tough to win on the road anywhere, and they've done it. Buffalo's a tough place to play, but it's only 3.5. Give me the Vikings.
I'm going Buffalo.
Okay.
After what Kirk Cousins did on that airplane with that TikTok video, I could never pick Minnesota again.
Fantastic.
I don't think they're.
Bills. It is Drew, John in Little Rock, and Andrew Stecco.
I love that John's. I love that John's on board with it.
I know.
I love that.
The
Such a great bit.
disappointment.
We're bringing Andrew on to
Drew,
give.
too.
By the way, it's a good point, right?
That's
You know he doesn't know anything
His
about
picks were
football. The picks are also brought to you by Guilford Hall Brewery, 1611 Guilford Avenue in Station North. Truly a gem in our city. Yappy hour, live music, trivia throughout the week, delicious Bavarian-inspired menu, and a wonderful craft beer.
Are you happy now?
This is your last bite?
No, but I'm
Oh, you're stopping it. Look at you.
dipping
Look
out.
at you
I'm
being a
not-
good
you're being-
good man.
I
Look
was
at you,
tired
Ken
of hearing you
Zalis.
complain.
Ken Zalis actually trying
Me.
to sop
No,
up.
him.
No, it was me.
Okay.
It was me.
Yeah, he was complaining.
I
so-
just that time I was complaining about him not talking to the microphone, so he had to look at you in order to talk
yeah,
into the
yeah.
microphone. That's
Correct.
what happened there. GuilfordHall.com is the website. I really wanted a reason to try to pick Cleveland because I'm still somehow skeptical of Miami, and I don't know why. Like I want to be. Browns 1-7-1 against the spread coming off a bye week.
Is that good?
In the last decade. So, no. Miami.
Miami's too explosive. I just don't see that the Browns can keep up with them. I'll take Miami.
Shout out Guilford Hall. I'm going tonight.
Yeah,
I'm
love
there
that,
tonight.
man.
This seems so easy. I mean, it's got to be Miami, right? So I'm going to pick Miami. I should have went all Drew Forrester and picked Cleveland, but no, I'll take Miami.
No.
I'm gonna take the Browns. I mean, I think Miami should win.
Did you
but
hear
they
they're
just,
1-7-1
I did hear
against
you.
the
I
spread
did hear you. But they
in
Miami,
coming
I just feel
off
like
a bye in
they're
the
not
last
putting
decade.
teams away, and I like the half right there. Going to be crucial. Going to be
right.
crucial. So I'm
Taking
taking
the hook.
the Browns. So is Kyle. We're the only two on the Browns.
Oh, damn it. That means we have Stecker. That's not good news. Not good news.
Jacksonville at Kansas City. Kansas City minus 9.5 in the 4 o'clock window on CBS.
This tests me, right? This really tests me because as I keep trying to explain to everybody, Kansas City doesn't cover big numbers. They don't do it. And I want to say Jacksonville stinks, but they couldn't cover last week against a team that couldn't throw a forward pass. I'm going to regret it, but I have to go Jacksonville. I don't know. Kansas City doesn't cover the big numbers. They don't do it. Jacksonville.
I can't do it anymore with Kansas City. I've done it for 2 years, and this will be the time that they
Of course.
win by 40.
They'll win by 100 now.
But one thing Jacksonville has figured out a little bit is that they can run the football, and ETN's been really, really good. Kansas City can't really stop the run. So I'm going to take Jacksonville. It's a big number.
Yeah, give me the points in Jacksonville, too.
Taking the Jags. We're all jagging off, I guess.
Oh, my God. Everybody?
No, not everybody.
okay.
Everyone in this room. Sorry, everyone in this room. is tagging off.
Yeah.
John,
You can call it a circle jag, I guess.
John Proctor, Kyle, and Drew on the Chiefs.
Oh, no.
So we
we
do
got
have Stecco. We do have Stecco.
No.
Cowboys at the Packers, 4:25 on Fox. Mike McCarthy returns to Green Bay. Green Bay getting 5 points at home.
That number's come down a little bit from where
I
it
think
started.
It's moved around.
Because at first this week, I actually was going to take the Packers because it started big. It started over a touchdown. Coming down beneath a touchdown, I think I'm going to take the Cowboys. Like, there's just nothing to like about the Packers. They lose Romeo Doubs on top of it. They're throwing to some guy named Torrey, who I don't even know that Ken's heard of, and he knows everybody.
Have him on about 8 of my dynasty leagues. I drafted him.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you playing him, though?
In some places I may be
Oh,
forced
God.
to.
Oh.
But he's a speed guy.
It's fine.
Speed guy.
The answer is the Cowboys.
Until Green Bay does something. They may even be without Andrew Jones as well.
Wait, Aaron Jones, you mean?
Aaron Jones, sorry. That's par for the course.
Former Braves center fielder Andrew Jones might not play for the Packers.
Neither one of them is going to play.
Yeah.
So I'll take the Cowboys coming off the bye.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys. Green Bay's dead, and Aaron Rodgers should be in jail.
Wow.
Jail.
I still feel like the Packers should be a good team, and I think they can probably keep it close too. So I'm probably going to regret this, but I'm taking the Packers alongside Drew Forster. We're the only two.
I don't know if that's one that you'd want to have on your side.
Yeah,
I think
I know.
John's right about
I know.
that. You'd probably be better off without it.
Finally, Sunday Night Football, LA Chargers at the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco -7 against the Chargers.
I don't like -7. I don't.
Feels pushy.
It does. It definitely feels pushy. You're 1,000% right that it feels pushy. Here's the number that I come up with. Justin Herbert, when he has been a touchdown or more underdog in his career, it's only happened 3 times. He's covered all 3 times. I get it. Justin Herbert, I know Ken was trying to mock me on Twitter earlier because he still wants Justin Herbert to stink. With the broken ribs this season, he has not been the same. There is no doubt he has not been the same guy this season playing with the broken ribs. And by the way, without any wide receivers.
I was just going to say that.
Yes.
I think more importantly,
right. Both things have been significant factors. But he is still somebody that I think, if they fall behind by a couple of scores, could get it back into cover territory. I'm going to have to take the Chargers here.
Yeah, I can't do it. No, he doesn't. He's not going to have his top 2 wide receivers yet again. Hasn't played well. He's hurt. San Francisco is just on a different level now with McCaffrey. They get Samuel back this week as well. I don't think the 2 of them have played together. Can't wait to see how that works. I'll take the 49ers here.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I'm going to take the Chargers. It's ugly.
Yeah, I like the 49ers a lot, but here's another angle for you, Glenn. Jimmy G is 34-23 against the spread in his career. As an underdog, he's 17-5 against the spread, but as a favorite, 17-19 against the spread. And I like what you said about Herbert. I'll take the Chargers as well.
All right.
Glenn, me on the Chargers, John Proctor, Kyle on the Chargers, John in Little Rock on the Chargers. The others are the 49ers,
all right,
including
very
Andrew
good.
Stecca.
Not
Very
a lot of
good.
people on the 49ers.
Those are our picks for the week, and we will get them up at Glenn Clark Radio on or at glennclarkradio.com here momentarily. If you haven't picked up the new print issue of Press Box, do it right now. Kevin Willard is on the cover, the new Maryland basketball coach. He sat down with Stan the Fan and I for a really great Q&A as he takes over at the University of Maryland. Go pick that up. You can also meet Division I men's and women's players from all across the state in the new print issue of Press Box. We'll come back in quickly, tidbit tubular. We are running late, and I apologize. Weekend at Bookies after that, Glenn Clark Radio. Have you been to Guilford Hall Brewery? Located in Baltimore's Station North neighborhood, Guilford Hall Brewery breaks the craft brew mold with their great handcrafted microbrews and amazing Bavarian-style food selections. Join Guilford Hall 7 days a week for Orioles, Ravens, and all of your favorite college games. Make plans now to watch the big games, play trivia, or bring your dog for Yappy Hour. They even have free valet service on Friday and Saturday nights. Go to guilfordhall.com for a complete schedule of events, beer listings, and food and drink specials. We'll see you at Guilford Hall Brewery.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
What's up, everyone? This is Tyus Bowser, and I'm excited to tell you that I'm back for Season 2 of The Tyus Bowser Show in partnership with Pressbox and Great H Memorabilia. Join us on Tuesday nights throughout the season as I'll be heading all over town with my special guests. And of course, our co-hosts, Glenn and Rita. Or is it Rita and Glenn? What is it? I look forward to meeting you guys and talking a little bit about football and a lot about life. And if you happen to miss the show, you can now catch a replay Friday nights on 105.7 The Fan. Get all of your details for the Tyus Bowser Show right now at pressboxonline.com/Bowser.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, November 15th at Mother's North Grill in Timonium. It's brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialists and the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets every Tuesday morning at 11:40. FanDuel Sportsbook GM Leon Twyman and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all of the info you need and offer you a few winners. And every other Thursday at 11:40, tune in for Weekend at Bookies as Andrew Stecca and Alloy Sports' Brad Kronthal help make you some money for the weekend. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline.
Glory Days Grill's Oktoberfest menu is now running. It's one of their most popular seasonal menus all year. It features the chicken schnitzel, the Oktoberfest brewer's platter, the brewer's sausage sandwich, the Bavarian burger with a pretzel bun, the cheddar ale soup, the slam dunk pretzels, and the apple cobbler. All of these meals pair well with Oktoberfest beers and Angry Orchard on draft. Dine in or order online at glorydaysgrill.com and pick up your favorites to take home. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
Check out Jeremy Kahn's daily picks at PressBoxOnline.com as he tries to find you daily winners. And speaking of winners, here's a man who once won a media curling contest, and I don't think anything else. He's Glenn Clark.
Stan the Fan and Danny Black, Baltimore Sports Collectibles, caught up yesterday. You can find it right now, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, PressBoxOnline.com/video. Early in the week, Stan and Ross caught up with former Orioles manager Dave Tremblay. Find that as well in the same locations. KZ, you have finished your sandwich.
I have.
How you feeling?
It's not sitting well.
No? You said you were sick for a week after the milk and spaghetti.
Yeah,
pie.
I won't be sick for a week
okay.
for this. But it again, the worst part, like you and I had talked before, was actually the mayo.
Yeah.
The jelly was not as minty as it could have been.
All right. Appreciate you being a man of your word.
Of course.
Coming in here and doing that.
As long as you tell me where I'm going, I'm good.
I appreciate that being the case. You can, of course, still follow Ken on Twitter at FansFantasy, and you can still pepper him with all of your fantasy football questions.
People do every week.
And he's going to do his best, but
I've answered every question this year.
He's retired.
I am.
Like, keep that in mind. He's laying on a beach somewhere. I just came in out of retirement to do this with us today. I love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Appreciate you. It's good to see you, man. It's been too long.
Yeah.
All right, can we what's the story? Can Tidbit push?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, Tidbit can
Tidbit will push. Tidbit would have been brought to you today, and it would have been great.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been brought to you by the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill, which you can see in action 1 week from this Sunday. Stop by the Game Day Firehouse at 1202 Ridgely Street, just west of the stadium, the Firefighters Union Hall. Sample some cooking from the Ginsu Kamado Grill. Register to win your own, as well as $500 worth of grilling meats. Tubular brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers and register. Pre-registration bonus, $100 from our friends at FanDuel. Plus, you'll still get their new user promo when they go live in the coming weeks. PressBoxOnline.com/offers right now to get that pre-registration bonus credit. PressBoxOnline.com/offers. Here's what's coming up tonight. NFL Week 10 does indeed get underway, technically. Panthers-Falcons, another barn burner on Thursday Night Football. They got they have Al Michaels doing these games every week. Ravens-Buccaneers was a delight in comparison to what he has. Falcons-Panthers tonight at 8:15 on Amazon Prime Video. A lot of local college hoops teams in action tonight. Maryland hosts Western Carolina tonight at 7 on Big Ten Network Plus. Loyola, by the way, this is pretty funny. Loyola plays Penn State tonight. UMBC hosts Penn State York. Morgan State hosts Penn State Allegheny.
They all came on the same bus.
Sort of weird how it all worked out. Loyola, Penn State, 7 o'clock on Big Ten Network Plus. ESPN Plus for Penn State, York, UMBC at 7. MorganStateBears.com for Penn State, Allegheny, and Morgan State at 7:30. Towson is at UMass tonight at 7 o'clock. Unfortunately, you'd have to pay for a Nesson Plus subscription in order.
I thought I saw it was on ESPN Plus. I could be wrong.
Maybe they've co-opted it as
okay.
well. All right, I'll check into that because it was scheduled to be on Nesson Plus, locally on TV up that way. The U.S. women play a friendly tonight against Germany at 7 o'clock on FS1. And the Wizards are at the Mavericks tonight at 7 on NBC Sports Washington. NBA TV for Sixers Hawks at 7:30. ESPN Plus and Hulu for Golden Knights Sabres at 7. Blackhawks Kings at 10:30. Everything else, go to GlennClarkRadio.com and find it there. Is there a highlight that you can throw out?
Atlanta series finale. And then Falling for Christmas, new movie on Netflix.
Wait, is this a series finale? This is the final season of Atlanta? I didn't realize that.
The series finale
I
of
need
Atlanta
to get
on
caught
Netflix.
up there.
Yeah, me too.
Work on that.
Falling for Christmas, Lindsay Lohan. She loses her memory. She meets a handsome guy in a cabin.
Is this a Hallmark thing?
Yeah,
that Lindsay
it looks like it. But it's
is
on
Lindsay
Netflix.
Lohan reached that portion
It's
of
on
her
Netflix,
career?
but it is classic Hallmark.
Okay.
Like,
All right.
yeah.
But yes, she has.
Well, I mean, but I still thought she could be crazy a little bit. I didn't think she had to fall into the just make Hallmark movies portion of her career yet.
I don't think she's embraced in movies the crazy part yet.
Maybe not. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's a good point. We watched Home Alone last night while we decorated.
Oh.
Yeah, it was, and Home Alone 2. We comboed both of them. It was a lovely, starring, of course, the former president of the United States. Home Alone 2. All right. Thanks to KZ. It was great to have him. Thanks, John in Little Rock, who's going to be hanging out with us for a little while because he and I are going to go over and grab some Glory Days after the show. Thanks also today to Dominique Foxworth. Thanks to Jayden Umbarger. Man, he was awesome from Navy. Thanks as well this morning to Kenny Mayne. We'll get all of that up in the greatest hits section of the tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. On the program tomorrow, Bo Smolka will join us, Pressbox Ravens beat writer. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN, who has kind of linked the Ravens and Odell Beckham a little bit, so we will check in with him, stuff and things as well on Friday. Thanks, everybody at Pressbox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including the Baltimore area Chick-fil-A restaurants, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill, Glory Days Grill, Guilford Hall Brewery, the Baltimore County Police Department. I think that's everybody. Did I do everybody? Royal Farms, Costas Inn. Thanks to them as well. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us at Glenn Clark Radio, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Have a great Thursday night. Go local hoops teams. Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks too. Give us 1 minute. Weekend at Bookies is